The 2024 season started as one full of optimism for Royal Challengers Bengaluru fans because the RCB women's team ended up winning the WPL or the Women's Premier League, but that good form and that good vibes, let's say, that came from that particular win hasn't necessarily translated into the IPL because as things stand, RCB have lost 4 games and already this early in the tournament, their chances of making the playoffs are looking bleak. Now, I say bleak because mathematically they're not out of it yet, but it's safe to say that there's a fair bit of improvement that will be needed if they are to have any hopes of having or staying in contention as far as the playoffs are concerned. So what exactly is it that they majorly need to change? Well, they obviously can't change personnel because the chance of that is gone, but even within the side, there are things that they need to be doing correctly, which perhaps they haven't been doing and which need to change. So in this video, we're going to look at 3 major things that need to improve almost instantaneously as far as RCB are concerned. And the first thing, and one that's very obvious, is getting better starts in the power play. Now, what you've been seeing more often than not is that whilst Virat Kohli ends up batting deep, the lack of form that a Faf du Plessis has shown means that RCB's explosive power play starts aren't really there. In fact, right now, they have the worst economy in the power plays of all teams, and that stands at about 9.6. It tells you just how far the bar has been pushed, that going at a run rate of nearly 10 is not good enough. But that is what teams are doing now. They've upped the ante as far as risk-taking is concerned, and RCB have been left behind hugely in that regard. It's not helped, of course, by the fact that some of their key players are out of form, but it's something that needs to change and needs to change instantly. The next thing that needs to change really is them finding their spin combinations and getting that right, because as things stand, they have the 3rd worst economy as far as spinners are concerned, and that means their spinners are giving away runs at an economy rate of 9.7, which is not good by any stretch of the imagination. Now, of course, there have bin some changes that they've had to make. Karan Sharma got dropped, Mayank Dagar has been their main spinner, and Glenn Maxwell, despite being a spin bowling all-rounder, is barely bowled for them. But what they need to do is figure out the best way to make the most of whatever resources they have, because quite frankly, whatever it is they're doing now is just not working, and it means that they're leaking a lot of runs in the middle overs, and that's their biggest woe, aside from, of course, the fact that their seamers aren't necessarily going for a lot of, let's say, doing the job. And the other major thing, which again relates to their batting and something that really needs to improve, is the form of their middle order, because if you're looking at all teams and you look at the average of their batters from position 3 to 6, then RCB's batting average in those particular positions is the worst in the league, because their batters from 3 to 6 are averaging 13.6, which is the worst among all teams in the IPL right now. And what it's telling you is that there's far too much pressure on the top order and that the middle and lower middle order are just not putting in the work and getting enough runs. This needs to change, and it needs to change soon. Maybe there are things that they can try. There's a Mahipal Lomro who's done well, who continues to stay on the bench for whatever reason. There's a Will Jacks who's currently on the bench. He's made a good impact in T20 leagues around the world. Maybe start him ahead of a Maxwell. Who knows? There are changes that can be made, but the lack of runs from their middle order is very worrying at this point, and perhaps the big reason why they are unable to set big totals, or when put into chase, unable to chase big totals either. So these are 3 things that we think RCB need to improve and need to improve now. What else do you think they need to be working on if they are to have any hopes of making it to the playoffs this season? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the Sports app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side though, it's goodbye.